Hello, thanks for tuning in to the Utmost Performance channel on YouTube. Today I've got a special guest here, local boy from Waxahachie, Paul Box, who just came off of a really good performance at the BMW Dallas Marathon, another local marathon here in Dallas, and just wanted to talk to him a little bit about it. Paul and I have been partnering together for quite some time and working on some things, and it was just really neat to finally have it all come together in a race that Paul was targeting and was really interested in doing well at, and he did. He ran a personal best, dipped under the 3-hour mark for the marathon, stopped the clock at 2 hours 57 minutes and
16 seconds. Weather, it could not have asked for a better kind of circumstance. It was unique for me because, as you know, Mario, I did get to start with the elite crowd, and that's abnormal for me. I'm not an elite runner, so to start with those faster guys was extremely nerve-wracking. I was beyond anxious all of last week, knowing that was coming, and it really just kind of probably took some extra energy out of me. Got me excited, but when the gun went off, you kind of take off for the first 50 meters, 100 meters, and then you realize, hey, I'm just running, and so you relax pretty quickly.
Yeah. Let me stop real quick. So the run up before the event, like you said, can be a time where athletes get really anxious and put that little bit of extra pressure on it, and then we add that extra wrinkle. I remember you were on Facebook and you're saying, hey, like I'm going to be starting with the elites, and they change your number, right? You got lucky number 13, and so like, how did you handle the run-up beforehand, and then having that, so then maybe you got the nerves under control a little bit, but then all of a sudden you get there and this extra thing pops up where they're like, hey, by the way, we want you to run with the elites. Mm-hmm. How did you handle all of that? Like, what was your mental processing like in that?
And I have to keep things simple. If I try to overthink it, I'm going to get even more and more nervous. So we talked all through our training about making sure that my pace is under control, meaning that I can feel the pace that I should be running. I shouldn't have to look at my watch. I should know the pace. I should feel it as I go. I want to make sure that my posture is right when I'm running. I'm keeping up. And then really the last thing is my breathing. And so as I was thinking about it leading up to the race, as I was training the last few days, everything was just, focus on those things, forget everything else, because everything else is just, it's just noise. And if I can do those three things, one, I was trained. I knew I was trained. Mentally, I was ready, and I couldn't let just the nerves of getting changed to bib and starting at a different time overwhelm me, because in the end, it's just running. I mean, don't make it more than what it is.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, good. I mean, like you said, physically, I mean, you were ready. I mean, I had come out and watched, a couple of your training sessions, and they were really good sessions. So just a take-home point, it's like if you've done the physical training, like you said, just trusting that the process had gone the way that as good as it was going to go, and that you got to the line, and that you were going to put your best effort forward, and just let it rip and let it be what it was, right? So cool. Let's jump into the details, though. Right. Okay, so take us to the race, and just take us to some moments that kind of stuck out to you. And
so a couple of big moments. One would be early on. Like I said, I started with a really fast group of individuals, and there were 2 or 3 that really hung back, and we were running about the pace that I wanted to run, between a 6:30 and a 6:40 pace. And so it was nice to have a couple of guys that I could kind of rabbit behind and chase, and that gave me some momentum for the first 5 miles. So I'd say just for the first 5 miles, I was just kind of getting in the groove. About mile 10, a lot of marathons for me, about mile 10, I start hurting. I start getting real negative. Today's not the day. I don't know what's going on. But you just, one, it's mile 10. So you realize, let's get through this. Let's keep pushing. Mm-hmm. But the coolest thing happened about mile 14. Usually, if I can get to mile 17, I feel great, because now we're doing a countdown in single digits. We only got 9 miles to go. Well, at mile 14, I don't know why this race was different, but at mile 14, I just kind of said, there's only 12 miles. I can do 12 miles anytime. And I really just kind of, I would say, just had a peace come over me at 14. Like, today's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get this done. And, just don't get hurt. Don't do something dumb. Don't speed it up too much. Just run your race. So at mile 14, I really calmed down. I think my heart rate shows that it went down. Everything really just kind of fell into place. And so 14 through 20, man, I just cruised, and it was great. And then about 21, we had a massive hill. One of the toughest hills, I was just telling you, one of the toughest hills I've ever done in a race. It was brutal, but we had an idea it was coming. I knew the course, and so I just backed it off a little bit and realized if I can get up this mile, then I can coast in. But I can't injure myself going up this mile. I can't hurt my rest of my race, and so we backed it down. I did have my slowest mile, but I considered that a victory. I didn't do something ignorant on that mile. I mean, I knew I needed to run that mile smart, and got up that mile. And then at that point, you're just trying to pick people in front of you and pick them off. You know, you see somebody up there, go get them. You see somebody else up there, go get them. And so the last 4 or 5, I mean, they were tiring, but really at that point, it was just trying to pick people off.
Yeah, man, a couple of things that I pick up from your narrative of the race. First off is the fact that usually at 17 is when you kind of go, okay, cool, and you kind of give it, you know, that extra little bit, and you kind of get motivated again, I guess, per se, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it happened at mile 12 at this race. So just through the mindset training and just the fact that you were physically more prepared than you've been for other marathons as well, we can't downplay that. That got pushed forward to mile 12, where now you were able to be more motivated for the last
half of the race.
Yeah, last half of the race versus just the last 9 miles of the race.
Yeah.
And then the second thing, you know, that I got from this narrative that's super important is the fact that you took a loss at mile 21 to gain from mile 22 to the 26.2, the finish line, which is awesome. That takes humility, right? You could have barreled up that hill and probably run one of your faster miles, but you probably would have paid back in spades for that effort. So having the humility and the self-awareness to do that, I think, is awesome. And, you know, what we have to show for it at this point is a personal record. Were there any moments of adversity that you had to face? Did things kind of go pretty smoothly? Like sometimes the races just go, hey, this is awesome. This is pretty effortless to do, minus the effort of actually running 26 miles. Sometimes there's some moments where things get a little bit difficult. Was there anything like that for you that you faced?
Yeah, nothing that was that just stands out other than my left quad kept feeling like it was going to cramp. Kept telling me that it was going to cramp. It never did, but there were multiple times where I would, you know, back off for a tenth or 2/10 of a mile just to try to control my quad. I mean, it got real tight. It was hurting. In fact, even the last mile of the race, it was my second slowest mile, and that was only because I kept telling myself, just don't cramp up in the last mile. But I mean, that was one thing that early on, at probably 8-9 miles in, I could start feeling my left quad, and that was scary because it's early in the race. But then on the other side of it, I just played with it and felt it, and every now and then I tried to stretch it out a little bit. But that was really the only hiccup that really came throughout the race. The rest of it was just it really was a smooth sailing race. It was like I said, perfect weather, perfect day, great circumstances. I couldn't have asked for a better day. But I think it was a good day because I was ready.
Sure.
I've had good weather days where I wasn't ready, and it's a bad race.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's two things there. Number one, we'll take we call them uncontrollables. If the uncontrollables land in our favor, we'll take them.
Yeah.
Because we know that your next marathon, it may be, I mean, who knows, Texas, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. We don't know what's coming. So we'll take the uncontrollables when they fall in our in our favor. But also, like you said, you got to be ready. I mean, you can't just go, oh, it's a nice weather day, so I'm going to run faster than I've ever run. We've also got to have had the physical preparation and the mental preparation to be able to put it all together with those favorable uncontrollables to have a great race. So, man, Paul, I'm just, this is just good friend of mine that has partnered with me for a while. I get so excited when just it comes together. Paul's been working extremely hard, a man of details, just trusted in the process, just trusted that, hey, like, let's just keep chipping away, and at some point, like, this will happen for us and the dominoes will start falling, and they have. But to end, Paul, what's next for you?
You know, I've got a 50 miler in February, which I hate to call it a fun run because it won't be fun. It's 50 miles, but I'm looking forward to that. But really, Boston in April is the next one to race, and that's been I'm looking forward to it because it's beaten me up multiple times in the past. It's a tough course, and so I'll be really excited to kind of go after that one in a different way.
We'll do it, and we'll be ready.
No doubt.
Awesome. Paul, thank you so much for your
Thank
time,
you.
man. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Mario.